Hello there and welcome to SNMB Academy. In this video, I'll be showing you how to factorize a quadratic equation. Now, we already know how to do the normal factorization of an easy equation. So how do we exactly do it with a quadratic equation that looks like this? Now, we can see that it has three terms: x squared, 6x, and 8. Now, each of these terms has a number. Like x squared will have a number 1. So we can divide this equation into three parts. So the first part would be the x squared, which we can call it as a. So a would be my 1. We only look at the number. Looking at my second term, 6x, we can call that b. And the number from b that we get would be the 6. And lastly, the third term would be called as c. And the number that goes there is 8. Now, what is a quadratic equation? What we're basically doing is we're looking at two numbers that multiply to give me a number, and then the same two numbers will add to give me a different number. So how do we know what two numbers we're looking at? So the two numbers that multiply to give you a number should be a multiplied by c. So a times by c, so that's 1 multiplied by 8 would be 8. So two numbers multiply to give me 8. And then the same two numbers would add to give me 6. So that would be b. So two numbers that are multiplying to give me 8, and then the same two numbers would add to give me 6. So this is what we are basically finding. So the easiest way to do it, how do we go on from here? The best way to do it is to look at the factors of 8. If we can find the factors of 8, so basically if we can find the two numbers that multiply to give me a number, it's very easy to just see and check for ourselves if those two numbers actually add to give me 6. Now, looking at factors of 8, okay, we know that it would be 1 multiplied by 8. So 1 and 8 would be the factors. That's our one situation. Or we can also have 2 multiplied by 4. So 2 and 4. Now, which one do we use? Are we using 1 or 8? 1 and 8, or are we using the pair 2 and 4? So now we know that we only have two scenarios of, the pairs in which we can multiply to get 8. And now we need to check for ourselves whether which one of this pair would actually add to give me a 6. And by the looks of it, that becomes the second one. So 2 and 4. So 2 and 4. Now what we are actually doing is we look at the question and we will copy the question as it is, except that the middle part will break into two numbers, and that would be this 2 and 4. So let's write that down to make things easier. So that would be x squared plus 2x, that's the 2x from here, plus the 4x, and then the 8. So technically this addition of 2x plus 4x, we've just, forgot the plus. This addition of 2x plus 4x, we are cutting that down from 6x. So if we add these two, we go back to 6x. So the reason we are actually breaking this down is so that we can make pairs, so we can easily factorize. So pairs will mean once we have this, equation looking like this, we can make pairs of the first two terms and the pairs of the second two terms. And what we mean by pair is that we are going to factorize. So let's factorize the first part, x squared plus 2x. So what's common? X is common. Multiply x times what will give me x, that's x. Sorry, x times what will give me x squared, that's x. Plus, stay as plus, x multiplied by what gives me 2x, that's 2. So that's that done. Plus, we know that stays as plus. Now looking at the second term over here, 4x plus 8, if you want to factorize that, what's common between 4x plus 8? So 4 is common. Bracket 4 times what gives me 4x? X plus 4 times what gives me 8? 2. Now that's factorized. So we factorize this term, x squared plus 2x to this, and we have factorized 4x plus 8 to this. Now, how do we know if we're actually doing it right? The easiest way to do is you look at the terms inside the bracket. So that's x plus 2 and x plus 2. And if your expression is exactly the same in both brackets, that means that you are along the right path. You're doing it correct. However, if you end up with different expression in both brackets, so let's say you have x plus 2 here and x minus 2 here, or anything else that these two brackets are different, just know that you're doing it wrong. So just go back and check, your factors or whatever, your addition or negative signs. So now going on after this, what we have to do is just write them down into two brackets. Now, the easiest way to write them down into two brackets is I like to call it like the insiders, which are the expression inside the bracket, and then the outsiders, the expression that's outside the bracket. So inside the bracket, we know that we have x plus 2, they're both the same. So one of my brackets will become x plus 2, and my other bracket will become what's left outside. So that's x and plus 4. So x plus 4. And there we have it, that we have factorized, this quadratic equation into x plus 2 and x plus 4. Now, if we were to expand these two brackets, you shall get exactly the same thing as x squared plus 6x plus 8. So there we have it.